allow them to make the presentation, and then you may have an opportunity to ask questions.
5 minutes.
Good morning, my name is Ashley Stoops. I'm with the Department of Watershed Management. We have a new project that's taking place in your neighborhood, so we want to come to you all first. It's called the Downtown Water Storage Tanks and Pump Stations Project. I'm hoping that everyone received fact sheets. If not, there are some extras up here. The site is on the intersection of Shelton Road and Metropolitan. If you can recall, it's a empty lot that's over there. Usually it's 18-wheeler trucks that they park there every now and then. This project is going to be a huge improvement of the neighborhood, as well as just it goes with the mission statement, just to improve quality of life. We definitely need the community involvement, so that's why we're here, just with the design of the tank, how we can make the neighborhood just look more beautiful and everything with the tank, being there. We have worked with the Councilmember Shepherd. She's gave us a lot of input about maybe having a moral or education feature there for the kids and the community. First, I'm going to introduce the project team that is here, and then let our watershed director, R.T. Parker, go more in detail about the project. So once again, my name is Ashley Stoops.
Oh, I'm Rhonda Fletchline, from the Department of Watershed Management, and I'm the project manager for this project.
I'm Steve Scarlett, I'm the engineer on the project.
Can I just say something real quick? When they met with me, because people already called me about this project, so let me just preface this up front. So, people are concerned about how it's gonna look and all of that. When I met with them originally, I had the same concern. I sat down and talked to them about a lot of things and what had happened for this project to be even in the community. So I know there's gonna be a lot of questions here, but one of the things I've talked about is this is not just gonna be a water tower. It has to be an art tower, it has to be a green space, it has to be a lot of things. We are not gonna allow a tower to be in the community that's gonna be an eyesore. There's gonna have to be something big and creative. It cannot be just something that's dumped into this community. So we're open to hear from you all, but let me just say this, it's needed. If we have a major catastrophe right now, something like on the size of what happened in New Orleans and stuff, the water flow in this community, all of the water reserve is at Hemp Hill on the other end up there. There is nothing on the south side that will allow us to have any water. What do you call it, Clifford? 4 minutes in a flush is what we would have if something major happened on this side of Atlanta. To be honest with you, real quiet, I'm gonna sit down. This is almost like, if I had known this is almost like environmental injustice. Because if something happens, all the folks on one end gonna have water, we won't have no water on this end. We are now in the process of resolving that. That will require a water tank that's gonna be one that's on this neighborhood that will serve the south side of Atlanta. There's gonna be another one in Riddletown. Ms. Archibald in Riddletown is also talking about doing something very similar in terms of how would it look, what is it gonna feel like, the whole 9 yards. So I just want y'all to know that as we begin to have this discussion. Thank you.
Quick follow-up. It's going to be, I know the council member said a water tower. When you think of tower, you think of something high up in the air and everything. It's actually a water tank.
Okay.
Partially will be buried on the ground, but it's not going to be all up in the air.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard R.T. Parker. I'm Director of Operations for the Department of Watershed Management. In advance, I want to apologize. For those that know me, I'm very long-winded. And initially, my team told me I had 10 minutes, and I learned on the spot that I have 5 minutes. So I'm going to do the best that I can to distribute some important information to you. Okay, very quickly. I am an administrator by position. By trade, I'm a water treatment plant operator certified in the state of Georgia, Class 1. I've been doing this work since 1988, so I know about water treatment. My responsibility as an operations director is to treat and provide safe drinking water to my customers at all times of the day. That is my mission. All of my employees know this. And so also, not only are we talking about public health, but we're also talking about public safety. We don't just provide water for people to drink, but also in the event that there's an emergency, a fire, they have to have water, an abundant source to put out the fire. So we're talking public health and public safety. As the council member stated, The water that comes into this area comes from the Hempfield Water Treatment Plant. That is where my office is. There is a pump station there that provides the water throughout our entire distribution system, which is 640 square miles. We go north to Johns Creek, south to Coweta County, west to Fulton Industrial, and east to DeKalb County. That's a large service area. We have 2 water treatment plants to serve the entire area, Hemphill and Chattahoochee. But every other area in our service area has tanks, several tanks. So as the council member stated, and I too agree, that is like having environmental injustice. When you think of water, civilizations have gone to war over water. Civilization started where there was a source of water. The city of Atlanta had a tagline that said, where water goes, Atlanta grows. This city would not have been able to grow like it has without water. We've been providing water to the citizens of Atlanta since 1875. A lot of people don't know that. But again, my job is to provide water to you all day long. With what we have as far as infrastructure for this part of town, it is hard, if not impossible, for me to make that commitment that you would at all times have drinking water. And the reason for that is, for example, if I was to lose power at my pumping station, within 4 minutes of a flush, as Mr. I stated, this area will lose pressure. By law, I must maintain at all points in my distribution system a minimum of 20 PSI in the distribution system. Typically in this area, you have about 40, 45 PSI. At the location we're at right now, you're at an elevation of about 1,000 feet. The discharge to my pumps is an elevation of 950. What happens when those pumps stop pumping, the water just floats back to my pump station, comes from the area, the pressure drops to 0. This is known. The reason that we've had the boil water advisories in this area have come as a result of loss of power, loss of pumping, and then the water, just because of normal hydraulics, the water just floats away from your homes, and as a result, we have to call a boil water advisory. It's a preventive measure, not to say the water is contaminated, but because that event occurred, then you have to begin boiling water.
Wait,
let me finish.
okay.
So as a result, one, just the thought that my customers lost water for any period of time says to me I failed my mission, and it doesn't feel good to me.
Yes.
Secondly, to know my customers have to boil water for greater, up to 24 hours, if not longer, that's an inconvenience to my customers. I don't like my customers to be inconvenienced. And we know the technologies that you need in order to prevent this, and it's nothing new. In fact, I personally have been promoting since 2003 that we will need tanks in this area. And so that is one of the reasons why I'm here today.
Nope.
I'm the face of what is bringing this to you, but I'm the one who understands more than anybody the need. Oftentimes I only get 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep because I know what could happen, and I worry about these things and not literally. Anytime that there's a storm, I know there's a high chance that we will lose power at the pumping station, and that could put you out of water. So I know that this is needed. So the thing is, how can we do this and do this right? I can say all the other tanks and even my water treatment plants that were put into the system were put in prior to me even working here. But I can say, now that I'm here, I take a different approach to how things are done. I take into account what my customers think, feel, and ask myself, how can we do things that can make their life easier? How can they make their communities look better? How can we improve the quality of life? And so when I met with my team, these are the type of things that we talked about. Some of the things we disagree with. Fortunately, I met with Councilmember Shepherd, and the two of us, we see eye to eye. So we were able to share a lot of things and get everybody on board thinking the same way. So I'm coming to you to say, yes, we're going to be putting a tank in this area, but the tank is needed. As stated earlier, we're not talking about something elevated, way above ground. It's going to be closer to, it's going to be above ground. but to the extent we can put it below ground, we want to minimize anything that will create an eyesore. But we want to, most importantly, anything we can do to complement this community, we're going to do it. And so we want to get ideas, we want to understand the needs so that we can do what we can to make this something that is a benefit to the community.
Madam Chairman, you know, I'm really consulted. You all have decided where you gonna put the tank. What is the housing situation around where you gonna put the tank? And that y'all have laid out everything about this tank that you gonna put in this community without any input with the community. And you bring us a brochure here to tell us we gonna put the tank. Is this the same kind of tank that you put in Summer Hill? Where y'all are buying up all these properties in Summer Hill? And the reason I'm insulted is because you've been working on this by yourself. You shared it with our city council group. This is your first year representing this community. Cleta Winstone used to be our city council person. Never before. We supposed to be having a redevelopment plan trying to revitalize Pittsburgh. Parliament just got up talking about boroughs and the streets where they building new houses. And here you come with a tank that you're gonna put in this community. You say it's almost environmentally adjusted. This might be more environmentally adjusted what you're talking about doing. But I guess the question I raised with the residents of this community, how do we know? Maybe what's really going on is that some other folks in this city tired of the tanks being in their neighborhood and they're gonna just take advantage of an area like this. I mean, y'all talking about a water tank, and our biggest problem in this area is housing and public safety. Why should I just don't understand it. And when I look at this map where you gonna put the tank, if it was my drilling, I'd be trying to put some more houses in this community than a water tank. And then you say, this is, if you don't do it, if some crisis come up, well, it might not come up. It ain't came up in the last 100 years that Pittsburgh been here, so I'm not sure why we would want to tank. But y'all got to stop planning for us and playing with us. We should have, this issue should have been part of our redevelopment plan.
Yep.
I mean, do y'all understand how insulting it is that we spent $200,000 on a redevelopment plan and nothing came up about this tank that you want to put in this neighborhood? And we supposed to be satisfied with this, and my personal feeling is that we need another meeting, not this meeting, because you know, this is a 5-minute meeting about issues. We need another meeting where we can get into detail about the impact of this tank, how it affects us, and the impact of for us what we try to do in the sense of housing. I take it, you know, I believe you onward and all of that, but I'm just telling you, we need to get more respect than somebody that's keeping, because the thing that's happening in Pittsburgh here, that every time I turn around, there's an agency that want to do something in Pittsburgh and want to tell us it's good for us. That ain't the way you play it. And you wouldn't go into another neighborhood, talking that same game about you have developed a tank for the neighborhood without input by the neighborhood. And George, let me just say this, but because these staff folks at City Hall will get elected officials in trouble, because what they're doing is they're planning and calling you in at the last minute before they come to the neighborhood, telling you about what's good for the neighborhood, and have not talked to the neighborhood at all. I'm not an expert in water. Don't expect to be one. We pay him to be the expert. But we got to be more engaged in what's going on in this community. Because if we don't, all of this money we're spending for housing and public safety is going down the drain. It's going down the drain. Nobody's going to want to live in this community because we can't even tell them the truth about what's going on, because the city is planning for us and not with us. And I'm just, you know, we just cannot keep doing this. Every time we turn around, somebody has planned something for this community without the community being involved. That's my spiel, Michelle, but this stuff gonna come back to bite us who live here and work here, because we just don't, everybody think, I guess everybody think folks live over here in Pittsburgh just stupid, and you can just
They
bring
say
us
that.
something
They
that's
say that.
last minute.
They
I don't
do
know
say
what
that.
y'all
We
problem is.
uneducated. They say,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm tired.
my thing about this is this, it's just like another organization that's here in our community, love them dearly. It's like they just keep dropping stuff over on us. We should not be the last people to know when you've already developed your plan, that you coming to us to give us water. I love water, I drink water, I have to drink it all day, every day, continuously, because of the chemo. But the building of a place, when you already made your decision where to put it at,
Yeah.
you come to Pittsburgh, a community where we have very active community leadership here, very active community organization, very active residents. You see how full I mean here? IMPU need to be just as full. We are concerned about what goes on in Pittsburgh and in PUV. So this should have been, when this decision came, it's somebody's right idea. They said, well, we come to Pittsburgh. But see, I'm the first one to tell you, when they used to come to us and they asked us to do stuff here, I would vote it down quickly when there was a decision that it was not going to be beneficial for us, as the people that live here. Because if you all came to us with this, we probably would feel a little bit more better. Just like the art stuff on the wall, we've been through that issue too. People come to us and they just keep doing stuff and they don't ask us, what do we want? What do you want, mister, where you live at? See, that's the way you do that. You don't just come over here and say, well, we're going to put Plymouth Rock over in Pittsburgh and just go on about our business because they really need water. It could be a major crisis, sure. And we're going to need water. But let the people of Pittsburgh make the decision whether or not they want you all to put a big water tank over there on Metropolitan and Shelter. Because the thing boils down to, in the very end of it, is that we're not being heard. We just the doormat. And because we over here, you all feel like y'all can just walk on the doormat and the doormat gonna be quiet. I should be probably at home, but I'm gonna be up here, I'm gonna make sure you know. When it comes to Pittsburgh, I hold it dear to my heart, and you're not gonna just do anything over here as long as I'm alive. When I'm dead, you can do what you want to, because I ain't got no voice. But as long as I can open my mouth and share how I feel about this community, I love where I live at. I moved away from over here. And they moved me back. And I refuse to allow anybody to come over here and pee in our faces and tell us it's raining. No. You need to come to us, hold a different forum, let us know why, how much it's going to cost us, because I know it's going to cost us in the end. Somewhere, y'all not just paying for all of this. Be it in our water bills or something. Somewhere we're going to have to pay for this. Let us know where we stand on this. Don't just keep bringing stuff over here and telling us it's going to be. No, it's not going to be, because we're not going to go for it. We got to lay on the ground over there, Doug Dean. It's not happening unless we got a voice in it. We got to know what y'all doing. Y'all can't keep doing that to us over here. I refuse to allow it.
Okay. So, first of all, that property at the corner of Shelton and Metropolitan Parkway, already zoned industrial. It's right next to, the bakery, right down. Excuse me, I'll let you talk. I promise you, I'll let you talk again. You let me talk. So, to that point, when they came to me, it was on the back. The property is already been purchased.
By the city?
Yes, by the
Yeah.
city. There's no money, there's no additional money that we're asking taxpayers for. This is a part of a plan of actually, we're still in the consent decree. A portion of this is the sewer. Now, as we were doing it, we said the next step we're gonna do is make sure, because we have issues with clean water and drinking water. So we're finishing that piece up too. So to that point, the water money has already been allocated. How many dollars, how much money?
32 million.
council requested 35 million.
But George, you see,
Wait, let me finish.
but you see what we talking about? Y'all have allocated $35 million.
Let me finish talking. I listened to y'all.
Yeah,
so
but
quietly.
you saying the same thing he
I
said.
listened to you all so quietly, didn't say a word, both of you.
I know, but that's
So
what
let me finish talking now, okay? Please let
$35
me,
million.
please let me finish talking. So, the money has been allocated, it's already to purchase. It was on the back end. They know that I was very upset about that I didn't know anything about that. They had a one-on-one meeting with me, am I correct?
Yes.
That's the problem.
And so to that point, my demand was that we sit down and that you all go to the community. And even right now, when they came to the community, I told them to get with me to come to the community. Y'all didn't do that. But now, wait a minute, let me finish. So y'all get whooped on now. I told y'all to go a different route. Did I not tell y'all to go a different route?
You don't be faithful.
So to that point, here we are. But that don't mean that this is happening tomorrow. I would urge us, based on your recommendation, we can come back because of their part. And let me just say this. They were scheduled to go to their park. I want the other council member who, this project is gonna be, this project is gonna be in the Pittsburgh community. So I said, you go to Pittsburgh first. Don't go to Adair Park first. Go to Pittsburgh first. Adair Park has major concerns, just like everyone else. And they're demanding things too. But I always respect the neighborhood that the property is gonna sit in, which is on the other side. As a matter of fact, we can sit on, Adair Park side, it would have been a whole different discussion because Adair Park is a historical site. So it is on this side of Metropolitan Parkway. When they sat down and talked to me, I very specifically said the same thing you all were saying, what in the world is this coming up here? And one of the things I've also said very specifically is that this cannot be something dumped, that's an eyesore. The front part of it and the part to the north is on industrial area. The sides on the left and the back is residential. So it's, in terms of the blockage, 2 sides are industrial, 2 sides are residential. It's already zoned industrial. It's a vacant lot that has been sitting there for years.
How did it get zoned, George?
From years back, it was an
it's
industrial
commercial.
site. That site was an industrial site.
Right.
That was an industrial
Right.
site. And nobody has ever rezoned it from industrial. So if it was zoned industrial, it's gonna remain industrial.
Well, it don't
was an
have to,
industrial
but that's
site.
what y'all say.
No, I mean, but that's just the way, that's just like,
Yeah.
all the residential area here, and so, and what developers do, when they're looking at things, they look at what is in zone, so it was already zoned industrial, so there it is.
If I
So when
would've
you talk
known
to-
that the city
Doug,
had
Doug,
$35
let me
million
finish. Doug, I'm not gonna go back and
Well,
forth
I'm not
with
gonna
you.
go back and forth with
No,
you.
but no, I let you
Well,
talk, brother.
this
So
is-
you let me talk.
Well, this is
So-
the neighborhood,
so
Mr.
to that
George.
point- So to
Yeah.
that point,
Let's have some order, please.
residential, when we said we need more residential, Pittsburgh is heavily concentrated residential.
But we ain't get no money for it, we ain't get nothing to change the housing situation in
So to
Pittsburgh.
that point, what I'm gonna recommend is that we do have
$75
a
million
collaboration with Pittsburgh.
I think it's commercial, it's not
It's
industrial.
going to NPUB Monday night. I would suggest that you all, we can have another meeting.
No city back.
And we're gonna have the city departments to come, because it's good that you all are not prepared. You all haven't justified to be on the rationale behind this. My staff, we talked to y'all about coming out doing something. I knew this was gonna happen. So I'm not even trying to protect you all. I'm just gonna tell you, you all gotta come with a justification. You have Adair Park has asked several questions. So there's a lot of things that have to be answered. The other thing I would suggest, wherever we're gonna put it, at this point, it's gonna obviously be here. We're going to have to talk about what it's gonna look like. You can't do that in 5 or 10 minutes. This has got to be another meeting where we're talking about design, the proposal, we got to come up with some pictures. This is major for this community. I told y'all that before. I told y'all that. So, here we are. So I would recommend
One
you come to the
time,
meeting.
we will schedule, work to schedule a meeting with the community, get back with you all on the time and place.
Just to clarify, Matt Garbett from Adair Park again, we have asked multiple questions. We haven't gotten any of the answers that we've asked for, like what were the criteria for site location, has the property been purchased? It sounds like it was. Just some background, the original legislation came from the mayor's office in May of last year. It went to the Utilities Committee in June, went to full council and then back to the committee for a month and passed in July of last year. So it has been going on since May of last year. I found out about it last month, the night of the NPU, and we've gotten no information since, but we will share it with Pittsburgh if we get it, but we haven't had it. So this has been an 8-month process before today, and I think that's important for Pittsburgh to know that. And I hope that we can meet together, and I hope that now that you've met with Pittsburgh, because the last email I got said, we can't tell you any of this until we meet with Pittsburgh. You've been here now, so I hope that you can answer mine and Randy's questions about. We can get information via email ahead of time.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to Adair Park and Westland to schedule a meeting.
We don't give information by email?
That's okay, to get
What's
people
that?
to come out, and then that way we'll be both communities coming together.
And remember one thing, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna be through. Remember one thing, City Hall has appropriated $35 million. Hell, if you had $35 million dealing with housing in Pittsburgh, you could change this community. And I'm telling y'all, you cannot keep letting this stuff happen to this neighborhood.
And Doug, I hear you. So that's the purpose of the meeting, for us to have these real conversations. And so my promise to community is that I'll reach out to Adair Park and give me at least until after Monday's NPU meeting to have a scheduled meeting. But it looks as if, as it relates, I don't know if you all were going to NPU.
We're gonna reject it at NPU, I can say that.
Was that the purpose?
Basically a briefing, like this meeting was just supposed to.
So it was, you were not asking for recommendations?
Today was the briefing,
Okay.
we're gonna set up a meeting with both of the neighborhoods so that we can decide how we're gonna go about designing the tank, designing the area around the tank. I knew we had.
We're gonna go about it by deciding what it looks like and then telling you.
Okay, so we will work to get all that done, and we'll make sure everybody at this meeting will have an invitation to that meeting so that we can discuss further. And then before we do that, we'll make sure we have a pre-meeting to get an agenda set so that we will go in understanding what it is.
Yeah, last part, find out when they start, they don't move on. Find out when they plan to start this, because we will find out all of that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's what